So I was poking around. I was looking for stocks that had an unusual call option on them, and I ran across this stock called Peloton. I was like, what in the heck is Peloton? Well, it turns out that Peloton is this really cool, interesting new company that has these cycling exercise machines. Nobody wants to go and drive to, a gym anymore. They'd love to be able to have a gym in their house. That's the deal. How can I have a gym in my house, right? And not have to go to this big, long thing of going down to the gym. And that's what Peloton does. And what I'm going to show you now is explain what Peloton stocks is, what the pros and cons are. It's an IPO. It's a stock I'm watching. I don't know if I'm going to invest in it or not, but I am watching it. It's a possible one. It's a possibility. And I'm going to show you what I'm actually looking at right now in this stock called Peloton. And it teaches you how to get better exercise in your life. Remember those old Reese's peanut butter chocolate cup commercials where they got a couple of people and they run into each other and one's got peanut butter and the other's got chocolate and bam, you end up with the Reese's peanut butter cup. Well, look at this photo right here. You got a computer on the left and you got a bicycle on the right. Bam, they crash and you mix them all up. That's what Peloton is. Peloton is one of these stationary bikes, exercise is something that is not exactly what I enjoy doing. And they mashed them together. And so you end up with this company that was founded in 2012 called Peloton. And all it is really is an American exercise company. What's interesting, though, is that it was created by crowdfunding from Kickstarter. So I'm going to dedicate this to explaining to you a little bit about how crowdfunding works. But let's talk about Peloton for the moment. Now, it's based in New York, and the main product is a stationary bicycle, like the kind of spinning classes kind of stuff. And what's interesting is they have the studio in Manhattan, and anybody can go there and spin for free. I don't know why they don't charge. It doesn't make much sense to me at all that they don't charge. But anyway, these spinning classes are transmitted from the live studio back out to these stationary bicycles. It's really cool. It's like basically taking the spinning class and the social aspect of it as if you were really in the class and then connecting that into the home through the computer. That's why I'm saying it mixes the bicycle together with the computer. And so there's a cost for the bicycle, and then there's a monthly subscription service fee that is charged in addition to this. Peloton was founded by Graham Stanton, Hisao Kushi, John Foley, Tom Cortese, and Yanni Fang in 2012. By January 2017, William Lynch joined Peloton as the company president. And in May 2018, Peloton announced plans to expand into Canada and also into England, actually into the United Kingdom by fall of 2018. Then in June of 2018, Peloton acquired Neurotic Media, a music distributor, and you can understand why that's important in a second. In March 2019, Peloton was sued, now this is why it's important, by the National Music Publishers Association for using copyrighted music. And the NMPA has gone after $150 million in damages just in this first round of lawsuits because they claim that they didn't have the proper synchronization licenses. And again, what's the deal? I mean, if they acquired Neurotic Media, this music distributor, in June of 2018, how in the heck did they end up in a lawsuit by March of 2019? These are some of the mysteries that investors would really like to understand. Now, the action resulted in changes to the music and removal of certain programs that used the songs that were specifically named in the suit. So you've got some people like, for instance, Taylor Swift, who had songs torn away from the system because she wasn't being paid for them, right? And so here is the essence of why Peloton stock is dropping. Peloton stock is dropping not because of marketing problems, but because of some other problems. Let's move on to see if we can understand what the other problem might be. Now, users have really been critical of these changes in terms of affecting, in a bad way, the quality of the product experience. And so a group of music publishers who have gone after Peloton for not paying their artists, and them, the music publishers, don't want any of this music on this particular system. And Some artists that have had their music torn off the system include Taylor Swift, Rihanna, and Lady Gaga. So this is a pretty serious situation, if you can imagine. Now here's part of the reason why the stock is dropping. For instance, there's a user named Ronna Harris, and she owns a Peloton bike. And these bikes cost over a couple $1,000, and she's noticed a quote-unquote huge difference in the experience that she's had with the product. And she states specifically that the music now consists of tons of 80s music, and not even good 80s music for the most part. Think doing an ab workout to a slow jam by Lisa and the Cult Jam. Oh my God, I gotta go look that one up. A few rap artists and a bunch of stuff I've never heard of for the most part, she said in a message to Business Insider. And she continued by complaining about the problem. She says it's definitely made her steer away from the bike more than she used to. She's definitely not one of those I'm just so addicted to exercise people. She runs a home business and has a husband and 4 teens, and it's escape of the music was a big draw, and now being stuck in crappy old 80s tracks land is really sucks for her experience. So she's not very happy with the product, and this is why we're seeing a depression in the Peloton stock price. It's because the user experience has dropped. But that's not the core reason of the problem, and I'll continue to explain in a second. So what has happened is that the record label groups have found another 1,324 songs that have been streamed by Peloton instructors without any kind of approval. Now this includes Taylor Swift, Adele, and the Beatles. So, oh God, this is a real nightmare. And Forbes reported that the NMPA has now increased the lawsuit against Peloton to $300 million. This is a recent lawsuit. And since filing the lawsuit, here's what the organization says specifically, quote, and unquote, which is, since filing this lawsuit, we've now discovered more than double the number of songs for which the plaintiffs' songwriters were never paid by Peloton. The fact that Peloton has gone this long without property music licenses is astounding, said NMPA president and CEO David Israelite. Now think about it, right? You know what I mean? They purchased a company before that was supposed to help them like stream music. So why in the heck did they end up in this lawsuit? And again, in September 2019, the suit was increased to $300 million, right? So this is a very recent suit. And remember that Peloton's stationary bike was released at an initial price of $2,245 in 2014. So this is not a cheap machine. It includes the 22-inch touchscreen that's used for these people to actually view these classes when they're actually going through these Peloton routines. The product operates on a custom version of Android. The bicycle needs cleats, which locks onto the pedals. So you got to go buy these shoes that are going to be $100 more because you have to get these special cleated bicycle shoes, which actually makes the experience a lot better on the knees. Classes are recorded daily and streamed live from Peloton Cycling Studio in Chelsea, Manhattan. They also upload their library for on-demand access 24/7. So anytime during the day that people have this service, which is $2,200 more or less, and then an additional monthly fee, they can actually train anytime during the day if they feel like doing it. The studio is open to the public, and daily walk-in style classes don't require any payment. Again, I don't quite understand why they're not charging for their classes. A version of the bicycle is designed for commercial environments, and this was unveiled in January 2017. The Peloton Tread is the company's treadmill product, and this is really expensive. This thing goes for $4,295. It was unveiled in January 2018 at the company Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, and it was shipped initially in fall of 2018. Now, again, classes are streamed to a 32-inch touch screen, and it's got this nice sound bar at the front of the machine. So again, with great music, it's an awesome idea and an awesome experience. Peloton's reportedly developing a new treadmill that costs less than the current model, and it's expected to be available in 2020. Peloton is reportedly developing a new rowing machine, which is expected to be available in 2020. If the company can survive, I mean, you've got this decrease in consumer experience, and things are not looking good. And again, the Peloton Digital is a monthly subscription service that allows people to stream these classes. So it's a large cost for the machine, And then they can stream these classes for cycling, running, yoga, and meditation. And they can, do it either treadmill or outdoor. But nonetheless, right now the problem is bad music experience. Before launching the bicycle and fitness platform, Peloton was able to raise about $4 million, $3.9 million in 2012 for product development. And then after that, 2 years later in 2014, they raised another $10.5 million in Series B funding. In 2015, $30 million Series C funding. 2015, $75 million in Series D funding. 2017, $325 million Series E funding. Company was then valued at $1.25 billion. August of 2018, $550 million in Series F funding, and the company was valued at $4 billion. In February of 2019, Bloomberg reported Peloton had chosen Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase to lead the initial public offering and valued the company at more than $8 billion. So what we're looking here is an IPO that was created through crowdfunding. So it gives me an opportunity to show you what I'm looking at when I'm looking at IPOs. And in these cases, we're seeing more and more IPOs that are crowdfunded. So it's useful to understand crowdfunding. So Peloton Interactive filed with the Securities Exchange Commission for the IPO in June of 2015, June 5th. And the company has not yet decided on the number of price range of shares it plans to sell. On September 26, 2019, Peloton raised $1.6 billion in its IPO, floated $40 million of Class A common shares at $29 a share. Now, at the market close, Peloton's share price had dropped to $25.76. This was 11.2% drop on its first day of trading. Now, when I teach you IPOs, I talk about Jay Ritter at the University of Florida, major academic researcher, and he explains how IPOs will often come out and then drop in price. Now, Peloton launched a major advertising campaign entitled Better is in Us. That was during the 2018 Winter Olympics, and it aimed to focus on personal stories of its users and how it had affected their lives. The company bought advertising inventory from NBC on the coverage of the games and also streamed 4 classes from NBC's Olympic studio in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Instructor Rob Arzon was one of the NBC personalities, as well as Paul Burmeister and the absolutely gorgeous half Brazilian, half Puerto Rican Natalie Morales. She's super hot, by the way. In November of 2019, the company released a new holiday commercial, The Gift That Gives Back, where a wife receives a Peloton bike from her husband. She starts doing a video diary of herself using the bike. A year later, she says she didn't realize how much this would change me. In late November, the commercial got a lot of criticism because it implied that the husband was unsatisfied with her physical appearance. And so women, have to work out to get sex. And so feminists really denounced it as being really dystopian, a male fantasy, like the first minute of an episode of Black Mirror. And the funniest thing I saw out there was this comedian who said that they should redo the ad. And in the ad, the husband gives the Peloton bike to the wife. And then a year later, the wife comes back and says, "This has changed my life so much." And she introduces her husband to the new boyfriend that she's made to be on her bike. I thought that was hilarious. Peloton, of course, defended the ad, saying, it was intended to celebrate fitness and wellness journey, inspired by how its users are meaningful and positively impacted after blah, blah, blah. But criticism of the campaign, supposedly the media is saying, has been hammering the share price, but that is not true. I completely disagree because the depression in the share price is over the music problem. So, for instance, the ad has probably improved sales. I mean, Ryan Reynolds hired this actress, Monica Ruiz, who was in the Gift That Gives Back commercial for the Aviation American Gin commercial, where she's not being judged at all. So in the end, this ad has actually been very positive for Peloton and not negative. And what's been dropping the share price has been the music problem and the litigation problem and another problem that is underneath all of that, which is what I'm really driving at. And I'll get to that here in a second. It used to be a total pain in the butt to go get the financial statements for companies. And now Yahoo Finance will give us the income statement and balance sheet and stuff from Edgar. And again, if you read my book, you'll know what Edgar is and so forth. But the main thing is that an income statement allows business people and business experts like me to be able to understand exactly what's going on in a company at just a glance. Instead of saying, hey, what's going on with your business? And the president says, well, we got this and we got that. And they're going to just blow smoke up your butt and, whether they're telling the truth or not. So we have standardized accounting. We have standardized financial statements so that they can't blow smoke up our butt, right? And the main thing to notice is that when you look at revenue is increasing dramatically. We go from 218 million to over $1 billion. That should be, it's in thousands, right? So this is 218 million, and 2017 is their sales, 435 million in 2018, and then we show 915 million so far in 2019. Great, sounds fantastic, right? Looks really interesting. But then when we drop and we look at the operating income or loss, we go from a 70 million operating loss to 197 million operating loss, offsetting it's a billion in revenue. But the main thing to be concerned of is when we chart this stuff, because if we go over here and we take a look, for instance, at revenue, we have this dramatic spike in revenue, but this huge drop in earnings. And the reason for that is because of the legal battle that the company's going through. Now, the thing is that when we talk about bad management, we go back to this article here in the Journal of Financial Economics by a very famous professor, Michael C. Jensen. He's at Harvard or someplace like that. I'd have to go double check, and I don't feel like it right now. But Theory of the Firm, Managerial Behavior, Agency Costs, and Owner Structure. This is where we look at bad CEOs. And what I'm noticing at Peloton is that it looks like they need to clean out bad management because they're producing these results like this. Like, why wasn't there somebody who was there to say, hey, we need to be paying for this music that's being streamed across our bicycles? There, where was the intelligence in-house for that, right? So that's the reason that I see that Peloton stock is dropping like a rock, is because of just absolutely atrocious management. Now, let's take a look at the stock itself. Here's Peloton stock, symbol PTON, and you can see that it did what Jay Ritter explains. It came out and then it dropped off and channeled out and then started up just like Facebook did, right? So you've got this blast in volume here, and then you have this nice uptrend, and that's called positive price impact right there, okay? And you can see that. You got a lot of volume that comes in, and then it's clearly buying volume because the market is pushed upward. Then you've got another major blast in volume right here, and you can see that the market is downtrending. And so if you look at this softness in November, it's clearly related to a decline in consumer experience because of the bad music that's being streamed across the bicycles. And so, there's a couple of things that could be good news, right? Number one would be a change of management, right? Because you've got bad managers. Why didn't they understand that they should have been paying for the music across their bicycles, right? Why did they allow the bad music to happen, right? And then the second thing that we need to see is that they fix the music. And as long as that doesn't happen, then, Peloton stock price could be severely jeopardized because of bad management in place. And so that's what we're going to have to wait and see, to what degree can, management be ousted from this poorly managed firm. And by the way, the last training I did was on Harley Davidson, and I wanted to kind of bring you back to that discussion because the Indian Polaris has created this amazing product called the Slingshot, right? I'm a hog kind of a guy, but I really, really like this Slingshot. It's just really cool looking. And this is something that I could see myself actually buying, right? You can only take it out when there's not rain and stuff, but my God, is it cool. And so Minnesota, of course, has proved it. Minnesota, of course, is Polaris country, right? So anyway, I thought that was just something kind of an interesting factoid to drive at you here again. Okay, now to end this, kind of wrap this discussion up, I want to explain crowdfunding. So Kickstarter is a big crowdfunding. I like that. Crowdfunding. It almost sounds like Dutch, right? Wow, I got to get my tongue under control today. But anyway, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform, and they pull in money from the public. So people can put in $1 towards something they believe in, or $20 or whatever. And the creators choose the deadline and how much they want to, pull out of the public for money. And if the goal isn't met by the deadline, then no funds are collected. So this is kind of an assurance contract. So if they say we're going to go after $1 million and don't get $1 million, then they don't get any money at all. Now, the Kickstart platform is really interesting because it allows people to invest from a lot of different countries. And this includes Mexico, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Belgium, Italy, Austria, Germany, France, Spain, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Denmark, Ireland, Norway, and Sweden, right? And Kickstarter makes money by taking 5% of the total amount of the funds that are raised, right? Their payment processor, hammers another 3 to 5% fee. So Kickstart walks away with 8 to 10% of the take in the deal, right? But unlike other forums for fundraising or investment, Kickstart claims no ownership over the projects and the work they produce. That's a very important point. The other forums end up taking a piece of each project that they fund. And the web pages of Project Lanthas's site are archived and accessible to the public permanently. After the funding's completed, projects and uploaded media can't be edited or removed from the site. And there's no guarantee that people who post projects will deliver on their projects or even use the money, or that the completed projects will meet backers' expectations. And Kickstart advises backers to use their own judgment on supporting a project, right? They also warn project leaders that they could be liable for legal damages from backers if they don't deliver on their promises. Projects can fail even after a successful fundraising campaign happens when creators underestimate the total cost required or technical difficulties to be overcome. And that's why I don't want you to look at crowdfunding like some way to run out there and get rich, right? It's not really an opportunity for the investors that I train, unless you're on the side where you're one of the people putting the crowdfunding platform together. So what makes Kickstart different than crowdfunding platforms? Perry Chan claims that he says, I wonder if people really know what the definition of crowdfunding is, or if there's even an agreed upon definition of what it is. We haven't actively supported the use of the term because it can provoke more confusion. Yeah, right. Basically, Kickstarter focuses on the middle ground between patronage and commerce, right? So people get cool stuff and experiences in exchange for the $20 that they get, right? But that $20 isn't going to get them rich. So that's why I do not want you to look at crowdfunding as a way of becoming wealthy. There's other ways to be a Regulation D accredited investor where you can get in on deals, but you've got to come in with some clout and some cash, right? Not $20. But nonetheless, crowdfunding is allowing people to create mini economies around these project ideas that they come up with. So you're not going to the site to get something for nothing. You're trying to create value for the people, if you're putting a project together trying to fund. And Kickstarter focuses on creative projects, music, film technology, art, design, food, and publishing. And it's like the National Endowment of the Arts for the United States right now, Kickstarter, because it allows a lot of creative projects to be put together and funded and go to market that otherwise couldn't actually do it.